Live? Working? All right, let me fix this a little bit here. All right, welcome to the live. This is the first time I'm doing a kind of live like this. Pretty much all we're going to be doing is hanging out, BSing, and talking about some of the interesting stuff that's happened the past couple weeks because there's been a lot of it. Uh, Stuff that I've seen on videos, important gun QA events, especially in the courts. We got actually quite a few pretty good wins just in the past couple days. Um, and we're going to be talking about some of YouTube's new community guidelines, which are horrible. But come on in. Let the cat in. But yeah, some of their new guidelines rules that they just dropped, which are actually similar to what we had last summer. So it's almost been a year since they dropped those, and they're real similar. However, they are not as bad, but also still bad. And I'll go over that in a little while. We're going to be talking about Denmark and how apparently they don't like spicy stuff. Hey, what's up, Q? Um, apparently Denmark don't like spicy stuff. We're going to be talking about that. Um, let's see what else. I actually wrote notes for once. One of my things is one of the reasons I always miss talk and whatnot on my videos is I don't ever write scripts, or sometimes I take notes, might look at my phone, but tonight I did notes because there's quite a few things I want to talk about. But we're just gonna be BSing, kind of hanging out, stuff like that. Um, Trying to keep my cat from getting in front of the camera. We're gonna be talking about Brandon Herrera, his Senate race, which he's doing some stuff with that. He's trying to do a recount, so there's that as well. We're going to be talking about Merrick Garland and the hole that he's going in. Uh, Hunter and Trump's convictions, what that kind of talk about, and some of that stuff like that. So, but first off, I'm going to start with the main thing for the channel, which is the state of the channel. Um, Over the past couple months, I really haven't been doing much with the channel. It's really been slow going. I did the move into the new house, built the new the gun room, the film and stuff in here, and had to do a bunch of family stuff. So I kind of got to the point where I just wasn't really filming or doing much for a while, even though my collection in that time had grown quite a bit. I was preparing and getting stuff to make new content. However, I just couldn't get around to it. And then I kind of had a slump where I just didn't have a whole lot of motivation to make content, particularly editing. So, what I'm doing with that is here, actually, tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be going to the range with potentially a camera guy who's going to be a full-time professional camera guy. I don't know if we're doing the editing or not, whatnot. We're gonna go to the range, meet up, do some shooting, do some filming, kind of see what goes on there and see how it works. And if it all works out and he's a cool guy and all that stuff, then great. We're gonna be doing some filming. I'll be able to get a lot of the action shots that I really want to do. That is really hard to do by myself. We're gonna have better cameras instead of using the two GoPros that I've been using forever. So, higher quality video. We're talking about, better frame rates, all that stuff. Um, Better audio, hopefully soon as well. Um, all kinds of stuff with that. And that's what that's going to do is that's going to kind of make it to where if I end up having to do the editing too, then maybe we won't. I won't have to be so stressed with stuff like that. I run a small business, which takes a lot of time. I work outdoors. Oftentimes, at the end of the day here in South Texas, after I've been roasting the sun with the 108 to 116 heat index all day, I don't really feel like doing much as far as working and stuff like that, or editing videos. So, hopefully it's going to help with that. Um, so I'm aiming towards that, getting that situation set up. I'm also going to be working on some new merch stuff in the merch store. Um, I'm going to be trying to, right now I'm getting a professional artist to do that. I'm going to be doing stickers coming up now as well. We're going to be doing gun waifus, anime gun girls. So I have some ideas for that. We're working with that. And I just got a huge backlog of guns that I need to do videos on, which is what most of y'all actually come to the channel for, is for guns and shooting and stuff like that. A lot of the videos I've been putting out lately have been kind of off, gun related, but not specifically gun concentrated. And that's because, um, I couldn't pay my gun club member. I didn't get around to paying my gun club membership for, well, all the way up until like last month. So I couldn't even go to the range to really film if I wanted to. Um, so I got that taken care of. So I'm gonna be going to the range again. I've already went last weekend. I did a video a couple weeks back, right after I got my membership back in. That's when I did the Irma, the Mini Luger. Um, I went last weekend, did some filming then. I've already posted some shorts and stuff like that, but I haven't done the well. And I also did one long form video, the Canon Yu-Gi-Oh cards stop a gun from firing. Did that. I do have some other footage that I took from that trip that is for full length videos. However, I don't know if I'm going to reshoot those or not yet on the better cameras. It's going to depend on what goes on tomorrow. Uh, Another cat. You want to come in? Come on, get your furry butt in here. Um, so that's going to be hopefully the plan for that. I think tomorrow. Well, I've been kind of contemplating for the past couple days what I want to do. I screwed up my elbow about a month or so ago, so I can't really do a whole lot of stuff with handguns. Holding my arm up like this is a little uncomfortable, and I'm a little concerned that recoil might jack it up a little bit more. So I am going to be taking one handgun tomorrow, and that's going to be right here, this old Ever Johnson pocket hammer pocket safety. I'm going to be taking that tomorrow. I went to a gun show and I found some 32 short black powder loads. So I didn't have any ammunition for that. That's one of the few handguns that I haven't even made shorts with yet because I don't have any ammo for it. But now I do. So that's going to be going to the range tomorrow. I'm thinking about taking the M1 Grand. I've only done a couple shorts with it, but I'm thinking it's going to be the next actual full review I do. I mean, if you look at the walls, I got a bunch of stuff that I have not made content on as well. Um, all the surplus bolt guns that are all up over here. Most of those I haven't done anything on as well. Some of those I don't have ammo for. I haven't really tracked down ammo, so that's kind of on the burner as well. Got some interesting volunteers tribute. Uh, well, Daisy back there, she likes she might smother you to death as sacrifice, right? Yeah. Anyways, so I got stuff that I need to do videos on. I did filming for that Russian SKS right there, but that was also part of a video. But I think I also did some shooting for that for a review on it on its own. As you've seen, I've already done the Chinese Type 56, Factory 26 as well. I've done that one before. So I haven't done the Russian yet. The video that's with the Russian is part of a bigger kind of video that's specifically on SKSs in comparison to AKs in regards to modifications. So that's kind of one thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I had to borrow a buddy's Type D in order to have a AK feeding magazine SKS to work with to kind of get the whole set. So that one dogs outside. That one is filmed. I haven't done the tabletop portion of it. So I've done the shooting portion. I haven't done tabletop. So that's coming up. Um, I have a review on. Let me move out the damn chairs in the way. That MP5, the 22 MP5, that's coming up as well. I did some filming for that. I might take that back tomorrow and do some more filming with it with the good cameras. But I mean, if you look at the wall, I haven't done yet. For instance, the FAL. I've been saving that one. Um, I've been trying to find a surplus Israeli uniform that's period correct for that video. I haven't had any luck yet, so I've been holding off on that. The other thing problem with that FAL is the wood on it's got so much oil that when I take it out to the range, especially when it's really hot like this, it sweats oil still. And I've done the trash bag thing where I wrap it in a paper towel, put it in a black trash bag, and put it in the sun all day to soak out the oil. And that thing still sweats oil. So I've been thinking maybe what I need to do is pull those off uh, and maybe soak them in some type of solvent or something to try to soak that oil out of it, and then have to go through and re-stain them or re-oil them or something like that. Just to make it to where it's not nasty to handle when I take it out. I mean, it's got cosmoline soaked in it. There's no telling how long that kit was chopped up and sitting in cosmoline before I got my hands on it. Some of the other projects, the DP27 is still kind of on hold. I'm still trying to design the semi-auto fire control system on that. And then the other problem that I have is I need to find a machine shop that that is willing to actually drill some holes into the receiver so I can do denial pins in it. So I can actually weld together as a dummy while I design the fire control system. The problem is it's really hard steel, and not a lot of shops have the ability to do it. I've only found one gun shop that's semi-local that will do it. However, his mill has been down, so that's kind of on hold for that. The PPSH 41, damn backwards, whatever. It's still on hold as well. The only thing that's really needs to be done with that is the bolt modifications. I do have a guy I can send it off to have the bolt modifications done. I need to buy a second bolt to send with it just in case my bolt isn't going to be usable, because I chopped it with an angle grinder and stuff like that and shaped it down for all the denial uh, specifications that it has to meet in order to be legal for the semi-auto build. So and that's just kind of been on the back burner a little bit as well. And then of course the also I got that my AMD um, ADM 65 right there. That one's also on the back burner. I do have almost all the parts for that. However, I'm waiting to SBR it, and I'm actually wanting to go slightly shorter with the barrel. But I'm waiting until I get into another property, a permanent property. Right now, just renting this particular property, so that's going to be a little down the road. That's on that. I haven't done videos on a bunch of other stuff, but as far as the builds go, those are the main builds that have been talked about on the channel that I haven't really gotten a chance to do. I do have some ideas for some other custom builds. However, it's finding the parts and the time and stuff like that. Like I said, running the business that takes a lot of time. And then on top of that, I also have the '67 Camaro that I'm building, trying to get back on the road. I have a four-wheeler that I'm trying to get going. That way, I can use that for both work and for this channel as well. I got custom ideas I want to do on my duck boat. All kinds of stuff that kind of makes it to where I don't have a ton of time. It is what it is. Yeah. So I have done a video on it. It is right over there. I actually have the magazine out of it. Oh, I have the magazine out of it right now, um, right here, because what I'm wanting to do, the problem that I have when I did that build is I use a Remington um, 975. Hey, Daisy, one second. Come here. Get your fur and butter off my dry bag. Um, when I built that, I used a Remington 975 as the internals, and I made the Nerf gun into just the chassis, designed the linkage for and all that stuff. The problem that I have with that is this little short 10-round magazine has to sit way up inside of the chassis, and though I can access the ejector to or the mag release to drop it down, Daisy, come here. Bed. Go to your bed. Stay in your bed. Right there. Uh, it sits way up in there, so it's got enough resistance on the magazine, and she is gonna be defiant. What is your problem? Hey, Daisy, Daisy, baby girl, go to your bed. Stay in your bed. Don't tell me no. You stay right there. Okay, right there. Look, see the camera. You're on camera. You're meant to sit there and look pretty. Here's your banana. Enjoy your banana. Um, but this goes way up in there, and it's got quite a bit of resistance on it. So when I do the mag release, you got to kind of reach up there and kind of yank it down. So what I'm gonna do is I took off the floor plate, and I'm gonna more or less drill a hole in the floor plate and figure out something that I can use uh, to meet the mag well and attach it to the bottom. That way I can use the take the mag in and out of it from the outside of the gun without having to reach up in there or use pliers or anything like that. I haven't really messed with it much. I really would have loved to use a 25 rounder for it. Um, but the problem is with it, the way that it curves, it would have I would have to cut a bunch of the grip out and stuff like that to make it fit, and it would have been real awkward to get in there. So I was looking for um, other high capacity or higher capacity straight mags, but I couldn't find anything. I think what I am going to do though, moving forward, is if I do another version of it or a larger scale version, I'm going to try to use something that's a 9mm carbine, like maybe an old Marlin Comp 9 or something like that, that does have long stick mags because, well, I mean, 9mm stacked straight. So you can have a straight mag in 9mm and have full capacity. So that's that plan. Um, on that, like once again, one of the 10 billion little projects that I have that I don't have time for. Good news is that business is picking up, so money's not quite so much an issue right now. It's just time and energy. Um, let's look at some of this other stuff. So one of the things that I saw, I've been watching my videos and stuff like that. Guns and Gadgets did a video earlier in the week that I thought was a little uh, concerning, especially considering we're going to get into politics. We're coming up to the next election. He found out how many hunters and gun owners across the country uh, who own firearms but aren't registered to vote. Snuggles, what are you doing? Um, so apparently, there's like 10 million or more hunters and gun owners across the entire United States that are not registered to vote, which is insane. What's even crazier is that there's 600,000 of them in Texas alone that are not registered to vote. So that's nuts. So um, we've seen with everything going on, I mean, with all the politics and whatnot, and all this here is kind of at stake. Uh, Uncle Joe Sniffy, he wants. We know what he wants and what he's aiming for and what his buddies want. And having that many people who's not registered to vote, that I guarantee you probably has an opinion one way or another about the Second Amendment and gun rights. That's just nuts. So that's something that needs to be looked into. I mean, if you know somebody who's not registered to vote, then talk to them, especially if they're a gun owner. Say, hey, what's going on, or what? Because I know a lot of people, especially after 2020, they feel like there's not a point anymore. But I guarantee you there is. Because if you look at 2020, the independent vote alone, if the people who voted independent would have voted for Trump, then Trump would have won for sure. Even with the stuff that happened. Um, you know, it YouTube flips and flops about what we're allowed to say about 2020, uh, but can you imagine if we had 10 million more? If we had 10 million more people that would have voted, then we would not be where we're at right now. Gas wouldn't be $4 a gallon, and food wouldn't be expensive. Interest rate wouldn't be 7%. Ukraine probably wouldn't happen. What happened in Israel in October, that probably would have still happened because Hamas, they don't care. They're terrorists. Um, the border problem would happen. Don't know if y'all saw. This week alone, one of the news things I actually forgot to write down. They caught across the entire United States. They arrested like 8 known Hamas sympathizers that came across the U.S. border from Mexico. So that's scary. I mean, that's 8 they know of, and the only reason they know about these 8 is because they were actually caught and processed and then re-released. That's crazy. Why are you re-releasing people that are known connections to terrorism? That's crazy. Can you imagine what it would have been like if that was the case for 9/11? Oh yeah, no, we knew they came across the border. We caught them and processed them, but we let them go anyway. Oh yeah, they flew some jets into a bunch of nuts. I mean, it's crazy. And then the conviction for Trump. If y'all have looked into that, there's a lot of stuff with that's not right. And good news is they're already appealing for that. The Sean Ryan show? No, I don't think I have ever seen Sean Ryan's show before. Daisy, will you stop trying to claw my dry bag? That's supposed to be waterproof. It has holes that don't. It's not waterproof. But no, I don't think I've ever seen a show before. I got a handful of channels that I watch when as far as keeping up with specific news, as far as what's going on in politics and gun stuff specifically. Guns and Gadgets, one that I watch a lot. Armed Scholar, Washington Gun Law, I watch him all the time. Liberty Doll, I watch her. A few others, I watch Steven Crowder. He doesn't talk so much about gun stuff anymore, which kind of annoys me. Seeing how there's been so much of it happening in the past. Kind of let you out. Go. Which there's been a lot of it going on lately. So it's. I tell you what, how's my audio? I just noticed I got like a little green bar thingy here, and it's all like showing like 1. Can I get a mic check? Anyone? I don't know. But yeah, it's okay, good. Audio sounds good. I'm using the microphone that's on this webcam, so I've got like a better boom mic over here, but for some reason that damn thing keeps acting up on me. But yeah, keyword and okay, so there's gonna be an ad running in 50 seconds. Okay, I don't know if it's whatever. Good news is I actually had this stream monetized and got monetized from the beginning, which is strange because normally especially my last video as well with the testing the cards, that was monetized right off the bat, which is rare for me. Usually it's yellow $sign and I gotta fight them for it to get it monetized if I can ever get it monetized to begin with. But yeah, I mean, so I've been keeping track of that stuff like that. But with like the Trump conviction, they're already appealing it, which is good. But also they got that the chance that it could end up being a mistrial because apparently the cousin or relative of one of the jurors made a post on X or text or something like that before the conviction came down, saying yeah he's going to be convicted. Okay, it says ads inserted. I don't see anything on my screen. What's it look like? Is it just like one of the little banners across the bottom, or is there an ad actually playing? This is like the longest live stream I've done, so I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, no, for sure. Well, there's been a lot of. I'll have to check out his show and see. But no, if you look at if you've actually been following anything about the Trump case, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on there. I mean, um, first of all it's a state case, and the one of the prosecutors worked at the DOJ, left the DOJ to go work specifically for this for the prosecutor's office that brought these charges. They changed some of the actual statutory laws regarding the charges that he got in order to even make them apply because they had already passed the statute of limitations, and then they increased the actual penalty from those from misdemeanors up to felonies, which is why he got 34 felonies. And then they applied it in a way because what he got accused of, what they charged him for, is stuff that uh, every person who sells and buys real estate or assesses the real estate for tax purposes, they do it. Everyone understates what a property costs, and when they're trying to get uh, uh, I can't talk and read at the same time. Read. Oh yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, did you see the interview? It was a World War II vet. It was I think it was the same day that they were doing the D-Day memorial. Um, when Uncle Joe was over there in Normandy, eating ice cream and whatnot. But they asked one of the World War II vets what he thought about what the way the current country was and how things were going, and he says, uh, he's almost ashamed of whatever everything is and how he fought for that, how things came out. It's crazy how fast things have changed. Um, and that's something I've always wanted to do is do some stuff with veterans, stuff like that. One of the things I was interested in doing is uh, trying to do a video series where it's have you ever shot? And basically, what I do is I'll find somebody who's specifically just like cowboy guns, like lever guns, 6 shooter stuff like that. Uh, yeah, I know. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, well, I mean, because okay, so when I work, I listen to a lot of YouTube videos when I work because when you're out mowing lawns and you get eaten by mosquitoes and it's 1,000 degrees and you're soaking wet, it's kind of good to listen to stuff that kind of keep your minds off of it. But I've been listening to a lot of the Fat Electricians videos, and when you think about it, all you listen to all the crazy stories that are just around World War II, um, with the Greatest Generation. Uh, it's some of the stories are just way out there. It's like, yeah, that's badass. That's what America's about. That's what our soldiers are about. Get out, do it. Hey, we're gonna get it done no matter what, and we're gonna take the hits, and we're doing it for the greater good. Um, and it's I did not serve. My dad did, but I haven't. I never went to the military. I went through a stint in high school where I wanted to kind of be a fighter pilot. And I was thinking about Air Force, but that never panned out. I ended up going to UTI to be a mechanic. But no, it's just crazy. You look at how our military used to be and how our soldiers used to be. We used to be a country of certified badasses, and we are past the 28 minutes line, so I can start cussing again. I think. I don't know if that applies to live. But yeah, I mean, we used to be a country of badasses, and guys that storming the beaches of Normandy. No deployment, but diesel mechanic. Well, thank you for your. That's still service. That's still service. Um, it and that's part of the military also that people kind of overlook a little bit is the non-combat uh, people in the military. There are a lot of people in the military that are absolutely necessary for a military to function that are not combat, uh, personnel. So, you know, thank you for your service. That's something that people always overlook. I mean, you just think about D-Day, which was last week. The anniversary was last week. That couldn't happen without mechanics or logistics personnel or communications officers. Hell, during World War II, we had a fleet of ships that their only job was ferrying and making ice cream and getting it to our troops on the Western Line. I mean, the Germans and the Japanese were starving, and one of our concerns was how do we get ice cream to the front lines? But it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. You can't have a functioning military without logistics, and that's one that's sad about it. If you look at the military right now, is um, I've noticed in the military ads lately, great white people back in the ads. Yeah, yeah. And my dad, he was in the '80s before I was born. And even he told me here and there in the '80s stuff was changing a little bit. Not crazy, not like now, but I mean, uh, but that's what you hear about a lot of people who've been serving over the past, say, let's say the past 24 years. Let's say you joined after 9/11, which we had a huge spike in recruitment after 9/11, just like you would expect. And a lot of the older guys that were in the military from there and stayed enlisted as a career, uh, they said a lot of them started leaving. And of course, you got with COVID, we can finally start talking about that again. We got all the guys who got discharged because they refused to take the shot, which is wrong. I'm sorry, but the mandatory shot for business in the military, that was should have never been a thing, especially for something that was you know about as dangerous as the common flu. In children, it was less dangerous than the common flu. I mean, the last time I had the flu was 2011, I think. And as far as how I felt worse then than when I had COVID in 2020, or was it 2021? I think I had COVID in 2021. Um, no, I haven't seen specifically what's going on with the National Guard. I imagine it can't be uh, any too much different than what's going on in the military as a whole. Um, Louder Crowder, Steven Crowder did an undercover report a while back, and he had an undercover agent that was talking to um, what is this guy's title? He worked for the Pentagon, and he was a inclusion, diversity, something. His job was to pretty much make sure that there was enough boxes checked for new recruits going in to the military, and it's crazy because even in that, because he thought he was on a date, and he was telling a date, about his jobs and stuff like that. And of course, Daisy's saying hi, Daisy. Um, and he was saying, it, oh, Daisy, come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm trying to, here, enjoy your banana. Um, oh yeah, well, you know what? They're working on a bill right now. I don't know if it got passed or not, but I've been watching some of the arguments and hearings on trying to pass a new bill that's going to be supposed to be specifically for helping veterans. They're going to be, I think, a 20% pay raise for non-officers, and like a 3% pay raise for anyone above that rank. And then they're also doing some stuff with the VA and stuff like that. If it passes, it's going to be great because it's stuff uh, that's way overdue. But one of the reasons that they're saying they're doing it because of the enlistment issues. They're having issues keeping getting people to enlist. They missed the goals by quite a lot over the past couple of years, and they're going to be trying to incentivize some more enlistment, and also for longer term stays in the service as opposed to just their first term. So, oh, it did pass. Great, that's great. Um, Oh, clothing allowance. I didn't hear about the clothing allowance as well. Uh, I know they were talking about. There was Daisy. What the hell are you doing over there? they were talking about doing childcare for families of the soldiers to help get that out of the way and stuff like that. And so that's great. That's great that passed. I only heard the oral arguments about it, and of course, no oral argument in Congress is complete without somebody whining about Trump, not another. Come on. Yeah, I know you're gonna be coming right back in here in 5 minutes, but go ahead and go. So that's awesome to hear that they did get that passed. Now, I can't remember. Was there more crap? Uh, yeah. I remember hearing that they were looking at building more barracks and upgrading the barracks, making them, I guess, more livable. Which is great. That's one of the things that's always bugged me about with how they treat our soldiers, especially overseas. Is some of them have really good food, others not so much. And I think if you're a soldier and you're putting your life on the line, or you're serving your country in any kind of capacity, as far as logistics, the least we can do is make sure you have good food and some comfortable living conditions. It's a bare minimum. I would think, have a better bed. I mean, everyone's seen videos, movies, and stuff like that took place around Iraq War and Desert Storm. Even when they had the barracks, most of them were still on cots and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case now, but we're going to leave billions of dollars of guns in Iraq when we leave, and he's saying we can't afford to buy some guns. We're spending billions of dollars to fund proxy wars, and we can't get some decent beds. Come on. Uh, but yeah, no, that's great that passed. I was listening to that and I was excited about that. Um, and I heard that by accident because I was watching videos where the House the Accountability Commission, or I can't think of their exact name, but they were talking about the uh, that ATF raid in Arkansas where they took out that dude, uh, and I guess Forbes, like, they do like these 5-minute videos, but none of them, when it automatically plays the next one, none of it's like in order. So you'll be listening to one thing, and then they pop it back, and then you don't know what the hell you're listening to anymore. When I went to basic, yeah, they had old school there. Okay, yeah. Yeah. My dad, I think he said 82. I think is when he said he went in, and at that time they still had a lot of the Vietnam era stuff still hanging around. I mean, he told me they were just now transitioning. Like, he started with the steel helmets, and then they transitioned to the Kevlar and all that stuff like that. He started. I think he said he started with just the olive drab uniforms, and then they transitioned into BDU. So, uh, yeah, he has lots of stories about stuff like that. How, because I guess he came in right after we got out of Vietnam, so there was a transitional period. So I always hear a bunch of stuff about that. He was a dear God, it hasn't even been 5 minutes. Oh, who the hell was that? Whatever. A transition period. So he has lots of stories like that. He was a cook and a radio operator, is what he's told me. So he didn't really do a whole anything like that, no action or anything like that. But once again, he was part of that logistics part of the military that is absolutely necessary. When you were in, did you get a chance to shoot anything cool? Because every once in a while, I'll get some surplus or something like that. And I'll ask my dad, hey, did you get to use anything like this in your time? It's from kind of around the same period or something like that. And usually be like, no, yeah, no, something like that. Um, but I know he said he was still using grease guns. He qualified with a grease gun, which is crazy because you think about 1982 and they're still using still qualifying with grease guns. I don't even know when they actually phased them out, and if they were actually officially replaced with anything. I'm trying to think, I don't that whole era in the 80s and the transition after Vietnam is kind of my gray zone when it comes to my knowledge of military firearms. You ask me anything from about 1894 to 65 or whatnot, I can tell you just about every main firearm that was adopted by the U.S. But you get after Vietnam, and I'm a little shaky. The 249, 240, M4, night vision. Ooh, M4 with night vision. Was that the old school stuff? Kind of like the big giant ones that gave you eye cancer, or were they upgraded stuff like that? MP5. Yeah. Cause I got night vision on my hog rifle right there, but the civilian market's always downstream of military. Uh, Usually they'll come out with stuff like that first, and then way down the road, once the technology is well understood and the electronics can be compacted, that's when we get stuff. That new optic that's coming out on the new Sig, the new adopted rifle. That thing is that thing's nice. I'm excited for a civilian version of that thing to hit the market in 20 years. uh, but that thing's cool. If you haven't seen that thing, that thing's neat. It's reticle, which is great because for me. Okay, I get a single tube with peck. The grease gun's still around. Oh, really? It went around that long? Now, I guarantee you, we still have a metric ton of them damn things in a factor, in a storage somewhere that's wrapped in cosmoline. Um, dust those off whenever. Because simple tube guns like that are always good to have. They're simple to make. They're easy to maintain. Um, I mean, like the PPSs, were kind of the predecessor of the tube guns, because we kind of the U.S. military, when we got into World War II, there were a handful of tube guns that were around in World War One, but in World War II, we kind of saw what the Germans were messing with, and then the Russians came out with stuff, and then we were like, hey, and then the British had the stand, like, hey, we kind of need something too. They slapped that together. So I mean, they're good guns to have around for sure. I mean, there's probably still warehouses that still have Krag Jorgensens in them. I know certainly we still have 03A3s, like up there. I know we still have those in factories because same thing with M1 Grands and the M14s, because you look at the NRA's CMP program. A lot of those CMP guns come directly from military warehouses. Uh, my M1 Grand uh, is a sneak back. So it was sent in parts back from Vietnam in the mail. Uh, so that's kind of neat history in that. But yeah, I'm certain. I know for sure we still have Grands. The M14 is still in service as the DMR. So I know we got a bunch of those laying around. I know we still have uh, 01 or sorry the 03A1s, whatever. I might remember. I know we still got a bunch of those because I know those are still issued for guard duty and ceremonial duty and stuff like that. So I know we still got a metric ton of those. That one I got up there. That thing's a gorgeous gun. I'm going to be doing a video on that one eventually. Ooh, maybe I should take that to the range tomorrow. I'm already going to be taking 30-06 for the M1 Grand. That gun is gorgeous. If you take a look at that gun, it looks brand new, like unissued. My theory is that it was produced. I think it was made in 1943 45 or 43. I can't remember the day. I have to look at it, but it's that thing's gorgeous. It had been produced and then never shipped across seas. It had to been here in a warehouse its entire life. The thing is too good looking. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we got a lot of. I guarantee you, we got stuff sitting around that's been here for a while. I mean, you think about certain like good bolt guns are always going to be good to have around. Now, of course, we've officially phased out 30-06 out of the military. I'm trying to. So we're probably we probably still have a bunch of it in a warehouse somewhere. I mean, I'm sure of that, but I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything at the moment. Anyway, uh, so I want to talk about something. So we got Crack Snippy. He got his three gun charges this week as well. So that's kind of I I want to say it's a win, but it's not really a win to be honest. They got him on the only things. Yeah, I don't know that for sure, but I mean, if they were still in service by the 2000s, then certainly they would have at least been on reserve during Desert Storm. Because what Desert Storm was 91, 93, early 90s, around when I was born. So I mean, if we still had them in active service in 2000s, then yeah, they definitely would have been there. That would be kind of curious to see to look into, see if there were any that were actually issued in Desert Storm and if they were used for clearing operations. That would be kind of neat. You got guys clearing pretty much the beginning of what we know of as modern urban warfare, and you got guys using grease guns. That'd be kind of cool to look into. Oh, cool. Yeah, no, if you hear anything, definitely let me know because if I can get any kind of jumping point to saying yeah they were issued for active combat, and that'll give me something to kind of look into. Um, Also, if he says yes he was and he knows anyone who used it or anything, if he has any information about the units or divisions that may have taken place in, that'll give me something a little bit closer to look into, and maybe I can ask some people, if they know anything, because that'd be interesting. Because just the idea of, I mean, you think about in Desert Storm, we got people, our guys that were starting urban warfare. We're really starting body armor at that time. Is starting to become, more prevalent. Not just like the old Kevlar that we started in Vietnam, but actually, steel plate armor and stuff like that. Um, so that'd be kind of cool to look into. As inserted. You were okay. Yeah. Well, if you hear anything from him and he happens to say yeah he knows of some chances, some people who were issued them, or he knows of them at least being around, that'll give me a stepping point because that'd be interesting. Like I have a as you can see from my that cursed abomination I built up there, I have kind of a soft spot for World War II and World War guns, World War II and World War One guns that have been kind of modernized a little bit. And part of that's from Call of Duty. Um, a couple years ago when Call of Duty Vanguard came out and Warzone had a bunch of that, they imported a bunch of the World War II guns in there, and you were building a lot of stuff. That's kind of what would kind of jump me off on that, because that's what kind of inspired me to build that thing. Is because that was my first parts gun kit that I bought because. Well, those PPS 43 kits, they're dirt cheap. I think you could still get them for around $100. Yeah. Some of them you can get for like $120 with 3 mags and a mag pouch, which is a killer deal. If you're gonna go through, and then also the conversion parts for those. Uh, oh, that's badass. Yeah. Come on in. I think that'd also be another cool thing to look into is the unique crest of different units. Throughout U.S. history, because that's one thing that our military is uh, known for is specific units and divisions coming up with their own crest and their own patches and stuff like that. So that'd be something interesting to look into. Um, I've been wanting to do patches on my my merch store, but I just haven't been able to find a supplier that can make them in the quality that I want. So that's something I've been wanting to do. Um, but yeah, I built that thing because parts are cheap. If you ever want to build one of those, they're the cheapest and easiest parts kit gun to build yourself. Um, the hardest part of those guns is the bolt modifications. Oh yeah. Which base? And it also was it renamed in the past 3.5 years or 3.5 years because of all this woke BS. That's something that also pissed me off is a lot of these bases that got renamed. I can understand the Confederate bases, the Confederate name bases. I can understand that. I can see the point of view, but it's still history. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, and that's why we study history. And I can tell you right now, you look at the left, a lot of them don't know history at all. Who was I listening to? Fort Polk, but became Henry. Now, was that recently changed, or was that changed back before this stuff happened? Um, but yeah, who was I listening to? Somebody was doing a thing, and they said that they couldn't on open streets. They couldn't find people who could tell them what year the War of 1812 took place, or who participated in the Spanish American War, which is, I mean, it's in the names. uh, no, it's no. No, we're living in idiocracy. That movie was a predictive documentary. You know, so much of that movie is coming. It's hilarious. Uh, but yeah, no, but back on that thing. The bolt modifications are the hardest things to do. You got to find somebody you can ship off the bolt to that can drill out the center of the bolt and add a firing pin inside of it. That way, when you do this was recent, but me it's well deserved, especially after reading. Okay, well that's good. If there's actually a logical reason behind it, or who they renamed it to that's actually deserving, then that's great. At least they went that way. Because some of these bases on state, especially stateside, that have been changing are just. I mean, I get it. What was it? Was it Bragg? They changed Bragg to Liberty, which it's an okay name. It's fine. Liberty. Um, but yeah, no, that's at least good that there's some actual deserving history behind it. Um, if anything, there's not enough for the Greatest Generation as far as what's publicly known, especially from the Korean War. The Korean War, I mean, it's called the Forgotten War for a reason because most people don't know anything about it. Uh, I mean, it's it's great, but there's some awesome stories from the Korean War. I mean, and then sometimes I always love, especially listening to Fat Electrician videos, is the animals that were in World War II and the Korean War that were mascots. I mean, or should I state as it was? Yeah. No, I agree. Well, I don't think I don't think changing names should be a thing to begin with. I mean, it got its name for a reason. Even if uh, the people are that were associated with the name or the history of that specific installation isn't acceptable now, you shouldn't hold stuff in the past up to the same standard as now. Things that were acceptable then that aren't acceptable now, it doesn't it shouldn't matter. I mean, there's lots because it's funny because they do that they do that whole um, that logic to where yeah, Jefferson had slaves or he was a Confederate general or this or that or and then they hold it saying yeah it was acceptable then but it's not acceptable now that we have to change it now. But then when you go around and you look at like a lot of their other things, stuff that wasn't acceptable then, they're trying to make acceptable now. So it's kind of a whole can't have it both ways. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You can't erase it, and that's like with the statues too. You don't have to agree with a statue in order to understand the history behind it. You know, um, those who don't understand history are destined to repeat it, and it's very clear that we can see that right now because the left doesn't understand history, and most of them get most of their news from TikTok, and it sucks. It's funny because I remember just a couple of years ago, was it what, 3 or 4 years ago, it was millennials were the ones that were the bad ones that were, and then I was like, ah, man, I hate being being considered a millennial. Because I was born in '91, so I turned 18 after 2000. So I'm technically a millennial, and then but now it's what the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas are. Yeah, yeah, no, it's no. Well, that's one of the things with history is history does repeat itself. It repeats itself in cycles. Um, but what the knowledge of history does is when that cycle reoccurs, you can now have the knowledge of the past and you can not re engage those exact same mistakes or re engage the situation the same way. You can do it better. Um, have you been seeing the stuff that's going on in Florida with the Russian Navy down there? Going to Cuba and stuff like that. That's another thing. We're probably the closest to World War III right this second since yeah, no, we're probably the closest to World War III right this second than I can any specific time I can think of. I mean, maybe the Cuban missile crisis was the only time we might have been a little closer. But then again, it looks like we're repeating that because we got Ukraine just um, attacked. They sent missiles, U.S. made and NATO missiles into Russia to attack Russian soil, and then Putin. Uh, okay, cool, cool, cool. You sent me that. Yeah. And then Putin, he said that he's going to if we're going to enable Russia's enemies to attack Russian soil using our weapons, then he's going to give Russian weapons to our enemies so they can attack us. Which I think is the whole point of why they're actually down going to Cuba right now. Is I think they're trying to give Cuba the weapons to uh, to potentially do something like, or at the very least, as a intimidation factor. Um, but then again, that's more stuff wouldn't have happened um, if Uncle Joe wasn't president. Everyone's he's a joke, and no one respects the dude. I mean, he trips upstairs and craps his pants in front of the Pope. Yeah, no, 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 no. I agree. China is the single biggest. I think one of the greatest things that came out of the Ukraine war is it showed the world how weak Russia's military actually is. I don't think NATO or the U.S. really consider Russia a threat outside of nuclear weapons now, simply because, well, they're getting their asses handed to them by Ukraine, which is mostly, at this point, they've gone through most of the military age men. They got a lot of volunteers. I mean, there are guys that were career soldiers that when they get out of the military, they're like, I don't know how to transition into civilian life. And a lot of them guys volunteer to go over there and clap some Russian cheeks. And I tell you, so, I've seen a lot of the videos. And another thing that's interesting about Ukraine war is it's the first war in history in which we have on the footage directly from soldiers in the shit showing what they're actually doing and what's going on over there. So it's a really interesting case study of how modern war is, but it's strange in a lot of ways. It's very similar to old war because they're still doing a lot of trenches over there, and they're still doing tank warfare. Um, Air superiority is not a huge thing. Of course, we got missiles and stuff like that. Now they're using the drones a lot, and some of that footage is hilarious. And then, have you seen some of the guns? No, 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 no. You're right. I think the when they broke up the Soviet Union, that weakened Russia a lot. Um, if it wasn't for nuclear weapons, Russia wouldn't be a world threat. To be honest, it would be a localized uh, regional threat. And I mean, even if you look at the map, I don't know if you. I've had it. I've had times where I just pop on Google Maps and just scroll around. Look, I look at different countries in the world, stuff like that. Almost all of Russia is completely empty. You got almost all of Russia that's in uh, the western one third of the country, and all the rest of it is just empty. There's nothing going on. You got small fishing villages, and then you start getting, further east, and then you get the ethno Asian Russians over there, which are there, there's a lot of stuff involved with those people out that way that is interesting and kind of sad at the way Russia treats them because they don't really act like the Russian citizens. So, but yeah, no, Russia it's shown us how weak it is, but you're right. China is the biggest threat. Um, and that is something that um, China is the biggest threat. Now, they've been uh, building up their military, and they have numbers. They have us on numbers. That's no doubt about that. They have us on numbers. However, um, the technology and the training is not there. Uh, and America has proven that we have a much higher KD ratio than anyone we go up against. So I don't think the numbers for the soldiers itself is that big of a concern. Because for one, most of them are untrained. None of them have seen actual combat. So we have advantage on that. We got soldiers today, that have combat experience, and then on top of that, our training's way better. So, but it's the technology and the economy that's really dangerous for them. And yeah, Taiwan. Yeah, yeah. Drones definitely are. Now, EMP strikes are interesting to me. It's I have a theory. You hear the news talk about all the time about how China's got hypersonic missiles now, and then North Korea's got missiles that can strike the mainland and stuff like that. Um, and stuff like, and then they say, yeah, well, China beat us to hypersonic missiles, but I don't believe that. Because if you look at everything else in our military technologically, we are quite a ways ahead of everyone else technologically. I mean, I'm sure we got stuff that's. I mean, we're developing our sixth gen fighter already, and China's barely getting their fifth gen, you know, going properly, and then Russia's, the Su-57, that's not even a fifth gen. That's like a four and a half gen. On top of that, they have like 12 of them total in the whole military, and I think only like five or six of them actually fly. Um, but what I was getting at is, they talk about how they got these missiles that can reach us, and I just find it hard to believe that we don't have anything that can counter that. Because you look at everything we have. Yeah, yeah, no, no. I mean, they're working on the missile, the lasers and stuff like that. They got the uh, we got rail guns that they're working on already. I think one of the U.S. Navy ships has one mounted on them. I can't remember which one it is. That's for a test program. Um, but I just don't believe that our enemies have all this stuff and we don't have any way to counter it, because you look technologically now, we're so far ahead of everyone else because we built everything we have to surpass what everyone else said that they had. And then we find out that what everyone else said that they had is nowhere near as good as what they said that they had. So we're like, okay, well, I guess we're way ahead. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're dropping the F-22 and going back to a new version of the F-15 um, Strike Eagle 2 or something. We're getting a new version of the F-15s, which replacing the F-22 Raptor. I don't know anything about the plan. I just know that's what's happening. But I mean, the F-22 is so far ahead that we don't really need to keep it around. Yeah, yeah, no, 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 I agree. Um, we get Russia tells us that they have a missile that can do this, or that their Su-47 can do this, or their Su-35 can do this, and then America's like, okay, Lockheed, Boeing, all y'all guys, y'all put y'all's heads together. This is what we got to be able to beat. I want it to be 2 times better than that, and that's how we ended up with the F-22 coming, literally being designed back in the 80s, or was it like 89, 91, or I can't remember exactly when it was released, but it was released way before. I mean, we had it way before anyone else even was thinking. They were still on, third gen, fourth gen aircraft when we had the first fifth gen. And then you're telling me that we don't have stuff that can take down anything that can be launched. I guarantee you, all along the west coast of the United States. Uh, oh yeah, no, no, the A10 for sure. They were actually, I think they're working on a new version of it. It's still going to have the same criteria, but I think it's getting new engines, better armor, some stealth capabilities, stuff like that. So that's yeah. I don't know anyone else. I'm trying to think of any country that's anything even comparable to the A10. Um, no, nope. Nobody has anything comparable that I can think of off the top of my head. No. But no, I guarantee you, the west coast of the United States, we have. I guarantee you, we have secret missile installations all along there that is capable of intercepting anything that comes from Asia or Russia. We have to. I mean, intercontinental ballistic missiles have been a thing since the 60s, even the 50s. I think the 50s, early mid 50s, we were really working on, but it's the 60s when they really hit their stride. So you're telling me we don't have things to intercept missiles that we've known about for 60, 60, 70 years, but the only difference now is that they're faster. No, no, I'm pretty certain, and that's where it comes back to the EMP thing. In order to get EMP to work, you got to get it over your target area. So they got to get a nuclear device over the U.S. mainland without us noticing, and then set it off. I mean, those balloons from China. The only reason those came over, made it all over the U.S. is because they looked at them like, yeah, those aren't a threat. I mean, they can't see anything that you can't see from Google Earth. So um, yeah, right. But yeah, yeah. So Hunter's convicted. The only thing that pissed me off about that is the only charges they've got him on were the gun charges. Nothing that ties him back to Biden, and that was on purpose. I would anyone with a brain can see that. Um, so Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, he's getting a held for contempt against Congress because he won't supply the audio for the Biden uh, when they were talking about the documents that he kind of sprinkled a little bit here, sprinkled a little bit over there, and he left them all over the place. So that's that's going on. Yes, that's actually one of my talking points. So my notes. I'm talking about I want to talk about the pistol brace rule, the bump stock rule, which is we got that today. Um, the engaged in business rule. We got a win on that one, a limited win on that one. So pistol brace rule. Um, that's great. That's nationwide. That's struck down. That one is adjoined completely. So they can now. That was Fifth Circuit, I believe. So they can still appeal that up to the Supreme Court, I believe, from this point. So the ATF can still fight on that, but we still have those other cases that I think in August there's a bunch of other cases that were combined that they're going to be doing oral arguments on, and I think that's going to be the one that's really going to nothing I've heard yet. I've been paying attention to that one because being in Texas, I would really love to be able to make my own suppressors and not have to register them. The only reason that I don't have any suppressors is well, one the $200 tax stamp, and then also the wait. Now I've heard recently that the wait times have been real fast. I mean, I've seen people saying that they've been getting their paperwork back in like 3 weeks, and some people even a couple days. But as far as I know, there's been no movement on it as of yet. Trying to think when the last update for that one was. It's been a while. I suspect we're going to hear something about that one here before November, before the election. Um, I think the Supreme Court session. I'm not. I can't remember if that one up to the Supreme Court yet. I think it might still be in the Fifth Circuit. But no, there's no updates on. But on the pistol brace rule, they're gonna have one more chance. The ATF's gonna have one more chance to really try to fight that, and that's going to be with the main arguments that's in the Supreme Court right now. There's like 4 or 5 cases that got combined, and they're all going to be seeking summary judgment after they do their oral arguments. Right now, the how a guy get, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. I've seen people getting their stuff back like that, which is great. But if you think about it, I think they're only doing that now because of the headway that the suppressor the freedom the Texas Freedom Suppressor lawsuit is getting. Because right now the only argument that the ATF really has on that specific case is they're trying to cite the what is it the tax rule. We're saying that you can't you it's the case should be thrown out because it is trying to circumvent a federal tax. Um, that's what they're trying to fight on right now, which is stupid because it's not even nobody's complaining about the tax, the actual cost of the tax. in this case. So that's the only thing they have on that one. So I'm curious to see how that comes out. I would love to make some suppressors at home myself for some stuff. I mean, no, no, it's not. It's not. Well, it's funny because one of the arguments that the ATF has said is because it's not. They say it's not a firearm, therefore it's not covered under the Second Amendment, and they can regulate it as such. As an accessory. However, if you look at the plain text in the NFA they say that a suppressor is a firearm in the NFA. So that means that it's a firearm it's a firearm as defined in the NFA, which means it should be protected by the Second Amendment. And the other thing that they're talking that they're missing out on is the common use clause. What was that one? Was it Heller? I think it was Heller that I can't remember which case it was. But anyways, they determined in one of the cases that common use. I think it was New York. They were trying to ban stun guns or tasers. I think it was stun guns, and they said that the common use on it, the reason it couldn't be banned is because there was enough common use in order to say that it was not dangerous or unusual. Oh yeah, no, 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 they are drunk. No, no, for sure. Drunk with power, drunk tequila. Not able to do anything. They're idiots over there. Um, but no, the common use in that case, they claimed that they said that you couldn't ban stun guns because they were in common use because there were 200 something thousand of them nationwide. There were millions of suppressors. There were millions of SVRs, millions of pistol braces. So the common use thing really is on our side for that when referring to that case, and then also with the new Bruin decision that really helps us. I think Bruin is one of the main reasons we're getting a lot of these cases through right now. I think that was probably the single biggest uh, 2A win. I'm gonna say in history because the history text and history text tradition and history um, standard that they have to follow now is just a huge win. Because if you look back at the time of the founding with 1790s to 1890s, um, yes, yeah, basically, basically, once you put a stock on a handgun, then you have to SBR it, which I think is hilarious. Now, the exception is that is replica guns, like for instance, um, black powder guns, certain cartridge revolvers, stuff like that. You can put stocks on because they were originally designed for it. And then also, I believe there's original 1911s from World War One that had stocks. Those are grandfathered in, and then Maus C96 Mausers are grandfathered in because they past a certain age and they were designed as such. Blah, blah, blah. But what's funny about that is in the UK, you have to put a stock on a handgun because it makes it easier to get the license for a handgun if you put a stock on it, which is the opposite. Yeah, yeah. Oh, what would be a fun handgun to have a stock on? Ooh, a lot. I- you put a stock on a handgun, it'd be fun. Man, I was just thinking about this a while back, and it slipped my mind. No, No, but we're getting some wins, and like the bump stock ban that was struck down today, um, and that was in the Supreme Court. So, as now, what's interesting, all the news I've seen on the bump stock ruling today is I haven't seen anyone say enjoined or any specific word saying that it's just struck down. So I think the ATF can, but now that one, they can appeal that one. I think one more time, but the court that they would be appealing it to has been handing their asses to them. Yeah, you know what? P1 would be fun with a stock on it. Of course, anything Luger I think would be fun. Uh, I think a Makarov, like an IJ-70 or something like that, would be really fun with a stock just because how small the gun itself is. So you'd have like this little tiny thing with a stock on it. I think that'd be hilarious. Yeah, but so they can pull that one more time. What do I got here? Oh, Brennan's seeking a recount here in Texas for his Senate run. So it sucks because there's like a couple 100,000 voters in just in El Paso, and he lost by like 400, over 400 votes. And then also there was a bunch of storms that day, so a lot of people didn't go and vote in El Paso. And I think like only like a small percentage of people actually voted in El Paso. I was watching the stream, the election stream for that, and I went to bed at like at 11 o'clock, and they were waiting on El Paso, some parts of district in El Paso to do some voting, and they hadn't done it by the time I went to bed. But when I woke up, everything was the same. Yeah, no, no, for sure. Um, what they Tony Gonzalez outspent Brandon by like 10-1, and then Brandon still got within 400 votes. So um, he's not in a good mood right now. I mean, he's like, yeah, I won, but I came that close to being jobless. And the other thing that pissed me off about that is I think I was reading that he is going to be eligible for uh like some type of retirement benefits already from that position, and he's only been in office for a couple, I think 4 years, something like that. That's crazy that you only do that for 4 something years, and then you already get retirement benefits and whatnot. So I mean, if he was to lose the next term, he doesn't have to work anymore, which is nuts. It's crazy. Um, oh yeah, so Denmark. I don't know. I saw this and I thought this was hilarious because I always laugh at Europe over certain things, Europeans over certain things. Denmark did a recall on this brand of ramen right here because it's too spicy. That is a real story. They recalled this ramen because it's too spicy. I went to an Asian market today just to buy some of this. I'm like, you know what? I love this brand of ramen. I haven't had it in a good while. And yes, it's spicy. I couldn't find the 3X. I only got the 2X, but that was hilarious. Um, like 4 5 years ago, there was an article. Uh, yeah, yeah, no, I'll look it up. No, no, it's they claimed that it was so spicy that it can cause intestinal damage or some crap like that. I don't know. Too many toilets were being broken. I don't know what the situation. It's but if you think about it, it's Denmark. It's cold up there all the time. I'm pretty sure they can't grow anything that's a spice. You know, so I mean, I understand they don't have access to a lot of spicy food, but Denmark, a lot of those Slavic and Nordic countries, they had huge trade routes all over the world. They were trading spices. Like I always make fun of British people all the time because they had a monopoly on the spice trade for what like almost 1,000 years, and they never figured out how to use any of it. They got bland ass food. Every person I've ever seen who goes to the UK says their food is bland, and every person who comes to America from the UK says that our food is amazing. I thought that was hilarious. Um, yeah, well, no, I'm. Didn't they ban the one chip? Shout the one chip. I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember. I want to say like a year or two ago, they said they were going to ban it because some young kid, like 10 years old or some crap like that, had gotten a hold of it, and they had a really bad reaction. And what a lot of people don't understand, because I like spicy food, I grow peppers and stuff like that, make my own hot sauce and stuff, is when you have something that is that hot, when you're getting up into the millions of Scovilles, your the tissue in your mouth can actually perceive that or something in that range. They can get blisters in their mouth. Your wet pipe can close up. You can get chills, dizziness. You can black out. And I think that's what happened to the kid. Is the I just got one in the drawer. Yeah, I gave one to my dad. It's a joke. Um, I put it like because he says he likes spicy stuff. He's always liked spicy stuff. So I okay, here, try this chip. Tell me what you think. But I think he got his throat closed up or some shit like that, and he had to go to the hospital. And so Pocky was like, "Yeah, we're gonna discontinue it." And personally, I think that was the wrong move. I think they should have just said, "Hey, yeah, let's just put a warning on it, or put it behind the counter of the store, like cigarettes. I say, hey, look, you got an ID to show me you're 18 to buy this one chip." I think that would have been hilarious. Um, what we got here? We got, yeah, but the ramen. I think that's hilarious. I wonder if they think mayo is spicy over there. But no, it was a story I heard a couple of years ago. There was a marathon being ran in the UK, um, and all these marathon runners were passing out from heat exhaustion because the temperature was a whopping 73 degrees. That story came out, and I think that summer was like I had heat indexes of like 110 or some crap like that. I've done it before. It definitely makes yeah. No, it's when you get super hots, things taste less spicy in comparison. I got a powder that I made from a bunch of super hots that I grew, and I smoked them, and then I ground them up in a coffee grinder. And my dumbass didn't leave it on the counter for long enough, so I go to open this thing, and all the powder, the really fine particles, were still aerated, and it just into my apartment, and it made it into my AC, and it made it almost unbreathable in my whole apartment. I still have the powder. I use just a little pinch of it to give some stuff some spice. It goes a long way when using Carolina Reapers as a powder. Um, I think right now the only super hot that I'm growing is I have some Trinidad. I have a Trinidad Moruga scorpion pepper um, growing in the garden right now. Oh yeah, well at the time I didn't have any gas masks yet. So this was a couple years ago. This was when I was on my first hiatus from the YouTube channel. So what I did is I started my YouTube channel, this channel, and then I went hard on it for like a year, and then uh, my mother passed away, uh, and I went to start my business, and I just kind of dropped away from it for a little while. and I posted a couple things here and there. I did like I went on some vacations and I posted some kind of blog videos from vacations, stuff like that. But so I didn't have any sponsors or anything yet. I had like 100 subscribers then. It wasn't until last year when I started talking to Robert that my channel really grew because he gave me some hints. Because he, thank you, yeah, yeah, I miss her and stuff like that. I'm not a super close with a lot of my family, but me and my mom were pretty close. Um, and this little one right here helped me out. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But yeah, so I kind of stepped away from the YouTube channel for a little bit, but then I started. It's been a little over a year. Let's see, when when did I get back into this content? It was okay. So it's been 2 years since I started back into it again. Um, and for like the first year, and slow grow. I had like I got like another 100 subscribers, something like that, and then I was in one of the YouTube groups, and Robert was in there, and I don't remember exactly what the post was, but he said, I've had this huge growth. I've only had my channel for 3 months, and here I am over 100K subs, and and I was like, "What's your secret?" And I popped on your channel, and it's shorts, and he's like, he gave me some pointers, some stuff that I should use with my shorts, and then I incorporated those kind of tips into my shorts, and then I had one video that went viral, and I got 20K subs from that one short, and that's still my most viewed short as of right now. So um, I can't even remember how I got into that line of topic. Oh, the gas mask. Yeah, yeah, gas mask and peppers. Yeah, no, I didn't have any of that at the time. But that blew my channel up, and I had all that growth. But then I had this little second little short hiatus I did when I was moving into this house and stuff like that, and then growth has been so slow. Like it took me 4 months to get 30 something subs to get me to 35K, and then right now I'm hovering at like 35K and 10 subs. It'll go up to like 16 and drop down to 10. 13, 10. Down. I haven't dropped below 35 yet. Back down 35, but it's fluctuating. I just not getting growth. I mean, I remember I had one day I got 15,000 subs in 24 hours, which blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, uh, it was crazy. It's crazy growth, and I'm trying to find that formula again to try to get that. And I would like my long form to be a little bit better. That's why I'm kind of hiring. I'm trying to hire the camera guy. That way, I can kind of really get the shots I want. Kind of get better production quality in there and more action. And then maybe I can get around to doing some more creative editing, so my boring ass isn't so cut and dry. Because I tend to be when I do my reviews, I tend to be kind of dry. Um, and I'm about the history, the mechanics, uh, stuff like that. I mean, I'll forget on videos to do trigger tests, trigger weight tests and stuff like that. And uh, I'm hoping having a second person who's invested in the channel that is filming will give me kind of some ideas of how to do shots or how to do ideas for stuff like that. So that's what I'm hoping for. Uh, I'm trying to look here. I'm trying to think, see if I've kind of gone over everything. Yeah, I've gone over. Have you seen the new rules that YouTube just rolled out? Um, I brought it up at the beginning of the stream, but they're rolling out a new set of rules, and they're just like the rules that they tried rolling out last summer, except the difference is instead of I think they I remember seeing that they are still going to give strikes, but it's not that's not the main way they're going to be hurting us this time. What they're doing is they're going to be making us invisible. They're going to be pretty much shadow banning us. So what they're doing is uh, last year when they did the original rules, inserting a magazine or showing a high capacity magazine um, would get you a strike. And what they were doing is they were also retroactively applying that to all previous videos on channels. And there were a couple of channels that did get taken down um, because of that, and which is really stupid because you're it's like the same thing with the new rules, the ATF. They're going through and they're making these new rules and retroactively applying them to stuff that has been always been okay up until that exact moment. Now, what they're doing now is the same thing. You can't show um, homemade 3D printed guns, stuff like that, and you can't show high capacity magazines. A lot of the same stuff that they already had. Oh, yeah, and I saw it. Is it just a banner or is it playing an actual ad? Because on my screen, all it shows is like I got a little like a little countdown bar, and then it shows me like 59 seconds ad, and then it shows ad placed. Um, so I don't know what it looks like on y'all. I wish it would show it on me, but I don't know what's going on. Uh, but what they're doing now is they're still going after the exact same stuff, and they're retroactively um, going to apply it to all previous videos. But now instead of getting strikes and then removing channels, they're just going to be age restricting that content, which means once that goes, it's age restricted. Then boom, that's it. You no longer get any reach. It's pretty much dead in the water, which is uh, uh, is bad. One second, I'm going to turn on the AC real fast. Daisy, you entertain. She looks confused that I left her in charge. Um, okay, so was it a full screen ad or was it just like one of the small banners across the bottom? That's what I'm curious about. Because if that's the case, then I need to like time when I see it say it's uploaded or when it's going live. I just need to stop talking for like 4 or 5 seconds so people can skip it. Because as far as I know, I still get the ad revenue as long as it like shows at all. And I'm actually surprised that I actually was able to get this one monetized to begin with before I even started the stream. Because the last time I did a stream, oh wow, look at that, we got 5 people in here. Hi guys, I didn't know we had that many people in here. Last time I did a stream, um, they demonetized it off the bat because they said I was modifying firearms, which was BS because I didn't even touch a firearm in that video. Just like when I did the video where I did the tour of the gun room, um, I didn't I touched firearms, but I didn't handle firearms. I didn't manipulate any firearms, and they said that I was um, modifying firearms, and I had a machine gun in my video because apparently whoever watched reviewed my video saw my outro and got scared and didn't have a safe space to go to. So I guess I don't know. Um, they were just being BS on that, but yeah, no. So I was happy that I got this one monetized off the bat. But yeah, no. So I'm curious to see how these new rules play out because last year, a lot of the big gun tubers were actually really instrumental in getting those last rules struck down. Um, Matt Carricker and a bunch of the other big guys, they had some of their lawyers reach out to YouTube and to some of their to they reached out to some congressmen that they knew, which I don't know which congressmen were involved, uh, which I want to look into. But apparently, what happened is one or two congressmen showed up at YouTube's headquarters in San Francisco and pretty much chewed their asses out for these rules. And that's how they got struck down last year. Now, this year, these new rules. Now, when they did that last year, I don't think they ever made them into actual print on the website yet. But this year, I think that's what they're doing is they're trying to do it towards print. It's going to be new guidelines. But we already have several big organizations already trying to fight these new rules because the way it's working is like last time they were trying to just nuke all of gun content on YouTube. Luckily, I didn't have any videos get struck on it because at the time I was still a small channel. I believe at that point in time I was still below 10,000 subs, so I was under the radar, so to speak. So I didn't have any hits, but I did see some bigger channels um, talk about having stuff monetized. They demonetized. They deleted a bunch of videos just so they couldn't. Um, they wouldn't be retroactively struck against. But the way they're doing it this time is just trying to get rid of us. They're trying to hide us. They don't want the public to see us because they don't like us. And it's sad because I argue with YouTube reviewers all the time over my content, trying to keep it monetized. And I've had videos that I've put up for a review, or I did an appeal on an incorrect review. Oh, thank you, whoever just gave me a heart. Thank you. Um, but I've had Daisy. What are you doing? No one can see your butt is in the way. Daisy. Um, no, that's not appropriate to be showing the masses. Um, uh, you made me lose my train of thought. But they're just trying to hide us. They're trying to make it to where we can't be seen. But I did reviews where I'd done an appeal, I'd done a review, and yeah, she's the emotional support gun kitty. She's human resources. She's HR. Uh, but I put in reviews or appeals, and I got the appeal back as denied within 30 seconds or within 2 minutes on a video that's half an hour long. And I'm like, there's no way you watch the whole video in that amount of time. It's not possible. And then I've gone through and re-uploaded the same video and got a different reviewer, and boom, it's good. So it sucks with the YouTube reviewers that you really get. It's down to who you get reviewing it. Is depends on it. If you get somebody who really doesn't like guns, or you get one of the reviewers that's sitting in a stall in India or something like that, because Daisy bag alone. Um, it just depends. It's crazy, you know. So 100K is apparently when you get to 100K and you get a watch button, you get a liaison from YouTube that pretty much is your person that you talk to directly. They're there to help your channel specifically grow and all this stuff like that. And I think they're supposed to be able to help you with some stuff. However, Robert has said that his that they can't do much more than what the chat support can do now. But I've seen some of the bigger gun channels, like I'm pretty sure I've seen Matt over at Demolition Ranch say that his guy, that is his liaison with YouTube, actually does try really hard to help him with his videos and keep him monetized and to solve problems. So I think that's also down to the same thing. Is it depends on uh, who you get. and I don't think you got a choice in it. You just get whoever you get. So 100K, I'm hoping I get there at some point, and maybe I'll get somebody who can actually help me keep my stuff monetized, and actually help me fight, to keep my stuff going. Because I can tell you right now, if any of the people watching now, if y'all have channels that are monetized, um, and you're in the gun sphere, it is frustrating to try to use the chat support. It really is. I mean, they can't do anything. All they do, um, they can refer it to another team that does have control over it, or they refer you to the guidelines. That's the only thing I've ever had help from the chat support at YouTube is get refer the case to someone else who can review it, or they get chat support. They will not connect you directly to anyone on the internal team that does the reviews. So you can't talk to anyone to dispute directly. You can email people and get emails where you can email them. I've had to do that before, but every time I do that, and I go through that process of appeals and talking to people, um, every time that I get a new response to them, they're always citing another rule that I broke, or a guideline that I violated that has absolutely nothing to do with the content. It's not in it. And once you get monetized, you really have to pay attention to the guidelines when you're making content, so you can attempt to stay monetized. Um, I mean, I've got a little over 30, you know uh, subs, and the most I've ever made in a single month was $160. So when you look at everything, what it takes to produce our kind of content, it's not cheap. $160, that covers the ammunition for one specific type of gun for one shoot. If I'm doing something like, say I'm doing like the FAL, that 160. Daisy, again, say hi. Hello. I think you're the reason why there's so many people in here that are watching you. Um, but like, if I take the FALs on like 308 surplus full metal jacket 308, that $160 isn't gonna go very far at all as far as that shoot. I'll be able to get that one shoot through for that video. More expensive, rare stuff like 760 by 54R. Luckily, I got a couple spam cans of that now, so I got that, and I got some Mosins I need to do content on. But that's expensive. That stuff, $160 in a month doesn't help at all. Really, it barely keeps you going. So this camera guy, I'm going to be paying him out of pocket to try to hopefully get to the point to where it is more feasible to do more stuff, because I have a lot of ideas of stuff I want to do, but the time and money is just not there, you know. Um, but yeah, I think tomorrow what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna take the M1 Grand is going to the range, and then I might take the Springfield, the 03A3. I might take that because they're both 30-06. I have to check and see how much 30-06 I have to see if I can actually do a full shoot for both the firearms, so I can get reviews out for those. Um, so I'm hoping for that, and then also I got some other interesting stuff coming up. Uh, I visited a small gun show on a whim last week, and I'm gonna try not to violate the rules here, but this one right here, if Daisy will move, get your little furry butt down. Okay, yep, okay, there. This one right here is something interesting that I wanted to show soon. Um, Also, there's another one over there. Both of those are 22s, but they're kind of interesting little finds that I've come across. Um, this one here's from the Philippines. If that's a any kind of hint, if anyone knows they're 22s and you know of something from the Philippines from Arms Corps, and who used to own Arms Corps, then you might know what I'm talking about. But I'm waiting on a part to show up to make it complete and accurate before I show anything with that. The part's not showing up till Monday, so it's probably not going to be till next weekend. If I even get a chance to go to the range next weekend, is going to be when I film that. Um, so that I'm going to be doing here the next month or so. What I'm planning on trying to do is I'm trying to do 2 long form videos a month that are going to be gun reviews, and then any additional little videos I come up with that's going to be shorter. Maybe testing videos, experiments, stuff like that's going to be kind of maybe peppered in, and then I'm going to try to get a steady supply of shorts back out again. There was a long time I was posting 2 shorts a day every day um, for a week. I would go to the range. I would take like 12 guns with me, and I would put together. I would film on my phone for shorts specifically for half my time at the range, and then I would make shorts on Sunday night or Saturday night. I would make all my shorts and then set them up to go out all throughout the week. So I'm going to be trying to do that again if I can keep enough ideas going. My problem is I'm missing a little bit chunk right here under that titanium plate, so my memory's not so good, and coming up with ideas harder than it looks when you've tried it done a lot. So I think another thing I'm going to try to do is interesting is I want to do just disassembly and reassembly. Um, so I'll pick a gun. So let's say SKS, and then I'll do a video that's just dedicated to the disassembly and reassembly of that firearm. Be short video, 4 or 5 minutes, unless I gotta talk about something specific, technologically about it. But I might do a little series about that. That's just the disassembly, and I may do that to where because normally in my review videos I do a disassembly and reassembly in my video, but I may do just the video on its own. Because, for instance, I did one for my Setney, uh, my Setney L right there, because those rifles um, have they're kind of notorious for having tricks to having to properly disassemble them and reassemble them. So I did a video on that one, and it was actually fairly successful. Um, Now, of course, the review of that gun didn't do so well because it got demonetized, and of course, when it gets demonetized, it doesn't get pushed as hard. Um, so I'm thinking about doing that. I don't know if that'd be good. I mean, usually what I do whenever I get a firearm, one of the first things I do is I completely tear it apart all the way down, disassemble it. I learn how the specific operating system and locking system works on that firearm, and then I clean it if it's got cosmeling stuff like that. It's dirty, has to be cleaned. I get a lot of stuff from pawn shops. I find in pawn shops, and generally they're not well taken care of. So a lot of the guns need some help. For instance, the baby Luger right there, that thing was all gummed up when I bought it. The lock to actually lock it back uh, was insane. It was you have to really fight it to get the lock back. And then the magazine itself was really stiff as far as loading as well. But after cleaning it up and shooting it, and it did loosen up a little bit. So that's one of the reasons why I tear apart guns, and that's something I would advocate if you're getting into firearms or you're a collector. Take apart your guns, learn them inside and out. The better acquainted you are with your firearms, um, the better you can use them. Because when you really understand how it works, then I think you really can really take advantage of that firearm if you know how it works. Something about knowing how the lockup, um, like say in an FAL or an SKS, something like that. Just that knowledge helps you. Because not to mention uh, if you have a stoppage or some kind of malfunction. If you really understand how your firearm works, then that helps you clear it a lot better, and it's a lot safer when you are clearing it. Like if, for instance, if you know, like say, uh, once again, back to that baby Luger, um, it won't feed hollow points. It'll get jammed up. The problem is, when it does get jammed up, it's hard to take it apart to unjam it. It's really tricky. You have to literally disassemble it with a live round stuck in it in order to get it loose. At least that was the case when it was still really stiff. Um, so stuff like that, it's good to know your guns inside and out. And that's usually the first thing I do. So I think that might be a good series to be showing people how to disassemble the gun, um, and put it back together properly because usually not I don't even see a lot of videos that actually do it in the long form to begin with uh, anymore. Um, so I'll think about that, and then of course word of the day, uh and because once again gotta process a little bit of time there. Uh, but yeah, I don't know what else. I think I'm gonna go to 2 hours exactly here. Um, when that goes 2 hours, around 2 hours, I think I'm gonna cut it off for the night. If this stream does well and the rewatch of it does okay, maybe I'll do this. Every couple weeks or once a week or once a month or something like that. Doing one of these little streams is it's not that hard to be honest. I don't really it doesn't take much to do, and then maybe I'll set up my OBS studio so I can actually, do some more overlays and stuff like that. And then maybe I can even get some of you guys out there to maybe join me on the stream. I did have a buddy who is in the gun world like me. I invited him over to come join, but he doesn't like being on the internet so much. So it is what it is. So, but we'll see. Maybe I can get some more talking points there, be a little bit more entertaining. Get some other points in, and then also that will make it to where we have more to talk about. Because if someone else is in, they're gonna have their own thoughts as well, and maybe their own things that they want to talk about. So I know Pew Society. They're in a group with me. Y'all walking out there. Go over there and check out their YouTube channel. They got a bunch of cool stuff. Subscribe to them as well. Help them out. Right now, gun channels we're getting hammered by a lot. I mean, uh, in the courts, we're winning a lot for the Second Amendment, but in YouTube, it's a lot harder for us to stay free and still be able to do the stuff that you guys like to watch and see. It's becoming even harder, and if some don't happen soon, as far as these new rules, there might be a lot of channels that you may not see. So, if find your favorite YouTube channel, your gun channel, go subscribe, hit that little bell icon. It helps. I know on my analytics on its own, I can look and see most of my videos are not watched by my subscribers. They are watched through the recommended for you tab on YouTube. So uh, go help us out. Help them out. Check out Pew Society. Hopefully, the next time I do one of these streams, I'll get some more of the guys in here. I probably should have brought it up a little earlier uh, than I did. I mean, I literally messaged in the group like 5 minutes before the live started. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm doing a live. Anyone want to come hang out with me while I do it? But Hugh, he got some. We had some cool conversation about military and stuff like that. A cool guy. Check out his channel. Um, Next time, I'll get some of the more guys in here, and maybe I can get them also up here and on video as well. And look, we're getting one of those ads coming. It's going to be exactly at the 2 hour mark. That when I'm going off. So I might I'll keep going to that run finish that ad finishes up. But yeah, check them out. Also, um, check out the merch store, shop txodiumshop.com. Uh, I haven't done any new designs in there lately, but I am working on some stuff right now. Um, I'm working on some stickers and T-shirts and stuff ideas. I'm gonna have gun waifus, anime girls with guns, stickers, stuff like that coming soon. I'm gonna be having those designed. Each one's going to be themed specifically around a gun in a specific era. So that's going to be kind of neat there. I'm also trying to get my own shooting targets on the shop, uh, and I've got ideas for that. Um, I just haven't found any cheap price yet or anything like that. Right now, the cheapest I can get um, is just not sustainable for a commercial sell. I need to get the targets down to a couple bucks a piece in order for them to be actually feasible. So I may be contacting one of my suppliers and say, hey, look, is there a way I can get these printed out and the actual order is a stack of X number of targets. So if that's the case, I can get that going, and I really want to get that working. I have a target that I've been wanting to have made for me. That's kind of similar in theme to what Grantham has with the Ron Jeremy and uh, Macaulay Culkin shooting targets. I have kind of my own spin on that one. Um, and of course, here comes Daisy again. Are you trying to leave? No. Yeah, she knows it's about time. So I'm trying to work on that. That's all part of the. That's all part of trying to keep the channel going as it is. You know, stuff's expensive, but things are kind of looking up. It's just really the time is the thing. But anyways, guys, y'all be sure like, subscribe, hit the bell icon in there. Y'all guys are why I do this. I like collecting firearms. I like the history. I like the mechanics. But I like sharing that with y'all. Is why I really do it. I like sharing the information. I like learning about it. Um, so hopefully y'all guys do too. I did a poll a while back, um, and it was literally a three-way split between um, y'all liking the history of firearms, y'all liking the mechanics of firearms, and make smoke pole go boom. So it was a three-way split. So I'm going to kind of keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to try to increase my production quality and make some more entertaining content and better quality. That's the plan. And hopefully with this new camera guy that I'm going to be hopefully working with, everything works out. There might be some more entertainment on the way. I've had an idea for the past year or so for a mini series, an actual purely entertainment mini series. I'm thinking about putting up here on the channel. That's going to be interestingly themed. So, but the problem is that I gotta get at least 3 or 4 other of my gun buddies together that are willing to be on camera and willing to go sweat their balls off in the woods. Um, I gotta get some special effects stuff going and camera gear and stuff like that, and then I need blink adapters and all that stuff like that, or it might have to be completely um, completely all CGI as far as the fires. Like at some of the locations I want to film at, I can't actively fire even blank. So, but that's hopefully if everything works out with this camera guy, I might be able to actually look at that as a possibility for the future for a miniseries. And it's going to be called The Brush. So, anyways, guys, y'all have a good one. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. Father's Day is this weekend. Happy Father's Day to all y'all out there who are dads. If you got kids and y'all shoot, take them to the range. Go have some daddy daughter son time and enjoy y'all's weekend and y'all have a good one. And remember, the Second Amendment's what keeps everyone safe and going. So y'all shoot, be safe. Y'all have a good one.